So how's it going, my Comic Chat Army? We're here today with Dan Schmidt, the creator of Worms Crawl In. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here today.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I was flipping through the book, and it looks like you're a one-man band.
Yeah, it's expensive to produce comics. This is my first real effort by myself. I did the writing, I did the art for it. I had to do all the production stuff, right? Like scanning it in, getting all the files digital ready and all that stuff. So did it all myself. It was a big effort. It took me about 5 years or so from start to finish to put the book together.
5 years, wow! And it's hold on, it is 156 pages. Would you count the last one as a page? Didn't have a number on it.
Yeah, so it's a total page count is about 160 or so pages. I think there's 145 or so of just pure story. So it's a big book. Part of the reason it took me so long is, like I said, it was kind of my first foray by myself into making a book. So the first 2 years was just trying to get the story right. That's the heart of any book, is really the story of it. So I made sure I spent a lot of time just to get a compelling story, something that was interesting, that was a little bit different than what we are used to seeing. And then the rest of it, the other 3 years, was doing the art and all the production stuff, like I mentioned. So yeah.
Did you do it traditionally, or did you?
I did. Nope. It's all well. The art is all on Bristol board, right, with pencil, pen and ink, and all that. And then I scan the pages in, and then I use the computer to do a lot of the gray toning and the lettering and all that other stuff. So most of the art is traditional art. Yeah.
I like it. I like that you chose black and white. Black and white's one of my favorite.
Some of the best movies are black and white when you see them on the screen. So it kind of made sense to make the book, given the subject matter and the tone. I thought it should be black and white. So
I like it. Did you kickstart it to fund it, or?
Yeah, I did. This was going back to 2020, fall of 2020. I started a Kickstarter. It ran successfully. Of course, like I mentioned, one-man band, so it's not like I had to pay for an artist or a writer and things like that. So it went well. It finished, funded what I was looking for. Sold, I think, about 69 or 65 backers or so. So not a lot, but for my first effort out there, I was really happy with it. And then after that, kind of went on to market it, sell it in other forms. So,
is it in comic shops? Are you in comic book stores right now?
Getting back to the one-man band thing, there's only so much bandwidth I have in a day. That said, I'm in 3 comic shops in my Pennsylvania area, so I'm really happy about that. One store in particular has been really good about pushing it, so I've restocked them a couple of times. And then I have a online store through Big Cartel, so it's available online as well. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, this was a big book for your very first book ever. I like it. The review is coming soon, but do you want to tell everybody what the story is about?
Yeah. So what do they call it? The elevator pitch, right?
Yeah. What's the elevator pitch?
The elevator pitch. So this is not a zombie book for all you people out there. There's no apocalypse. It's not like there's hordes of monsters and zombies coming to find and destroy survivors. The book is about dead souls are bound, stuck in corpses as part of a form of cruel punishment. So the 2 main characters, Delane and Marco, are seeking to undo the torture while a desperate criminal tries to stop them at all costs. So it's a macabre journey of self-discovery and redemption as they go on this journey.
So I know you're working on a second book. Is it going to be a second book to this, or just a whole complete different story?
Oh, so this is fun. It's part of this. However, traditionally, when people release books, they do it in a linear fashion, almost like a horizontal thing, right? There is issue 1, 2, 3. It kind of goes in a line. I'm not going in a line. I'm going down instead of across. So my second book that I'm working on right now looks at a moment of time in this book and then expands on that further.
So like, without trying to give the book away, so like a person that they run across, it shows you that story after the interaction?
Yeah,
sense?
essentially, right. So at towards the end of the book, there's a moment in time. So then this second book takes that moment of time and then just expands it into a larger story. So it's not the same. It's a completely different story. It's all new. We haven't seen it before. You don't have to get this book, Worms Crawl in order to understand the second book, but it helps to fill in a lot of the backstory.
Do you have a name for the second one yet?
Worms Crawl Out.
Hey, I was thinking that. Is that really what it's called?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it gets back to that old rhyme, right? That maybe you've heard it: worms crawl in, worms crawl out, worms play pinochle on your snout. There's a whole rhyme about that.
I haven't heard that one, but I absolutely love your art, man.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have a favorite page out of the 145 pages?
A favorite page. I have a couple, probably, but the last page is probably my favorite. Just because it really puts the exclamation point on the whole story. So that's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one that I liked a lot was, let's see if I have it here. Page 58, I believe. So there's as part of the one of their adventures, there's a splash page where Delane is face to face with a ghost that she just freed from a dead corpse. So you can see the ghost coming up there from the dead body.
So does she actually see the ghost, or is the ghost there for us so we know what's happening?
Yeah. She's a psychic, clairvoyant, whatever you want to call it. She's able to see ghosts, communicate with ghosts and spirits. And this is something that's been kind of, to coin a term, haunting her for her life, right? So this is something she's had to deal with, and it's been a real burden for her. Of course, if she's able to see these things and interact with the ghosts, other people can't. So this is a problem for her, and part of the reason for her hard life that she's lived. So she's bitter and jaded and very doesn't like people in the story. So yeah, she can see those ghosts, interact with them, which is key to her meeting the other main character, Marco, right? So he is a dead spirit, a dead ghost trapped in a corpse. So he is surprised when she is able to understand him, hear him, and see him. It's surprises him. So that's kind of how their adventure begins.
Where did you get inspiration for this story from?
So I pull inspiration from a lot of different places, generally speaking, right? The grand majority of it is actually not comic books, right? So I like music, so I listen to a lot of music. So ideas come from there. One of the places that I had visited was New Orleans. If you've been there, I've been there a couple of times, and just looking around the French Quarter and that area near the water, it's has a lot of atmosphere, has a lot of character to it. So pulled some of the inspiration from that, and then just kind of mashed it all together, and that's the book.
Okay. I know that you're a family man. Did you put your kids anywhere in the book at all, or your wife?
No.
Okay,
No.
fair enough. Yeah, for it being a zombie book, I guess I wouldn't either. Okay. I like it. Where are you going to be at? Are you going to do any cons in your area soon?
Cons, I haven't decided yet. It's been a strange journey, right? So as I mentioned, I kind of started this years ago. And then when I was ready to really finish the book, that was around summer 2020 is when I really put the finishing touches on it. And then my Kickstarter was in the fall. If you remember, that was COVID.
Yeah.
So I was kind of stuck to marketing it, selling it, whatever, strictly through online methods. So I've been doing that for a while, and now that it seems like things are better, opening up, cons are now happening again. I haven't decided to go to any yet, but it's definitely something that I'm looking at hard to see if it's possible. What's around my area first. Cons are funny. I know that a lot of people swear by them, right? That's where you go to sell books. That's where you meet your fan base, where you can really grow that fan base and things like that. Other people say the opposite. They say, that kind of interaction is overblown and it's antiquated. Online and digital is the way to go. So I'm not sure. I'm still trying to see how it works. Before, when I had looked at the cost of it, right? How much it is to rent a table, to get all the marketing materials to put behind you and on the table, travel cost, right? If it's not local, you gotta go to a hotel, right? So you start doing the math and adding all that stuff up, and I'm like, wow, I gotta sell this many books just to break even. That's a hard pill to swallow. So like I said, I'm kind of on the fence about cons. If they're in my local area where I don't have to get a hotel or anything like that, then that's probably where I'll be. But traveling, probably not.
Okay. Where can we get news of where you're going to pop up, or if you're going to pop up at a con?
Oh yeah. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook mostly. So my Instagram is at Dan_Schmidt_art. And then Facebook, you can just search up my name or search up Worms Crawl In. I have a Facebook page for my book, so you can find me there. And that's probably where I'll be posting news and updates on future appearances and things like that, is on my Facebook Worms Crawl In page.
All right. And what did you say the name of that website was? Well, your website?
I do also have a website. It's just wormscrawlin.com.
Okay.
Yep, and that redirects to my Big Cartel store where you can buy the book. So it's all driven through PayPal, so it's all secure. I don't see your credit card or anything like that. It's a safe and secure way to buy.
It's a good book, y'all. Like, y'all should pick it up. And if they mention this interview, would you give them 10%?
Sure.
All right.
10% discount.
Yeah, if you mention this interview at checkout. Let's see. Gotta ran through everything a little fast. Oh, someone asked me this the other day, and I thought I'd ask someone else. Is there a movie in the last couple of years that almost made you cry?
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit off the comic for a second.
So I'm kind of a funny person like that, I guess. You mentioned, I have a family, I got kids and stuff like that. So I spent a lot of time watching kid movies, kid shows. So the closest that I've come to crying from a movie is probably from those kid shows. Some of those shows are really heartbreaking.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
all right.
Yep.
And you don't do comics full time, right? You got a day job, then this is what you do on the side?
Yeah. So, like a lot of creators, I do have a day job. And then when I get off the clock, I'm back at my art desk doing stuff there. So it's like two different jobs, right? You finish
Yeah.
one and jump right into the next. My hope for this book, my second book, Worms Crawl Out, is to have it done for hopefully fall of next year. So I'm putting a lot of time and effort into trying to, not rush the pages. I don't want to rush and sacrifice quality, but I want to try to get this out with decent quality, with really good quality, as quickly as I can, so that I can get something out. So this book, like I said, came out in 2020. So it's been a little bit. It's been a couple of years since I've had anything really big come out. I've worked with various other creators on their properties recently. So I have had some stuff in other IPs, but for my own, I want to try to get this one out before it gets too far down the road.
Okay. And who is Matthew? So special thanks to Matthew.
Yeah. So he's an independent author. He writes novels and things like that. So part of my process was I had written the script, the story for the book for Worms Crawl In. Did as best as I could to edit it and all that beforehand, and then I handed it off to him. Asked him, if he could give it a read, give me some pointers on things to fix up if it wasn't making sense or whatever. So he was kind of like my collaborator on just making sure that the story was tight, that the plot was good, make sure that there was no typos or things like that, right? Those little things.
Yeah.
So he was a great help, just making sure that everything was tight, the story made sense and all that stuff. Great author, by the way. He has a couple books out right now, and he's working on a third book, so he's been busy too.
Do you read indie comics?
I do. Well, as far as I have time to read them, yeah. Like I said, I'm at my art desk most of the day.
Is there somebody, all right, dead or alive, who would you like to make a book with?
Oh, that's a good question. As far as story goes, I'm a big fan of Grant Morrison. Right, so he's famous for like the Sandman books, but he does a lot of different types of stories, right? For regular novels, for his own kind of books and things like that, comic books. So I think he would be really fun to collaborate with, just to kind of hear how he thinks and how he puts together those ideas and those stories. I think that would be great. As far as indie comics goes, I've already collaborated with, I don't know if you've met him, Ben Krieger. So he does the Frontier Forever properties. It's about kind of like a sci-fi adventure of technology takes over the human race and part of humanity goes off into the stars and the other part of humanity is left behind on a dying world.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's really fun. So he does that book. So I've worked with him already. There's probably a list of indie creators out there. I know there's a list of just people who are doing they're dedicated to the craft and they're just doing really nice work. So I have my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time to come talk with us. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
I think I had mentioned it before. You can pick up my book Worms Crawl In at my website wormscrawlin.com, and you can find me on Instagram at Dan_Schmidt_art and Instagram. Yeah, and just if anyone has any questions or you want to follow me on Facebook, feel free to send me an invitation. And just working on that second book, and I got to get it out for next year, man. You got to finish reading this one so I can get you the second one too.
I know. I'm at page 69. I should have it done within a couple of days.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dan.
No, thank you. I love being on the show, so it was a great experience. Thank you.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comic Chat Authority? Oh, come on. Subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.